The information that we were shown at the time when we were collecting the information from Nostradamus was the timeline that is written in the books. And as we said earlier in the previous conversation that you had with us, the timeline has shifted, which means that there are different factors to be taken into consideration when you are trying to, shall we say, map out what the future looks like for you. And the third dimension, Earth, will sustain a lot of damage as the destruction of the planet shifts and evolves and gets profoundly cleansed. And we've already discussed what that future of that planet will look like after the shift. While it immediately will not be 100% destroyed, there will be a timeline, a small gap in time when it will be just fading, and then she will go and she will be no longer. However, we are now wanting people to focus on the fifth dimension of the new Earth, which, as we have stated again in a different video, it has said that it is a new planet, a new Earth. It is brand spanking new. It is not bare. It has got plantations of many beautiful things. It is very luscious with the nature. It is abundant with not only nature, but with animals and wildlife that also want to enjoy the peaceful experience and the new way of the fifth dimension on the planet Earth. It is a marvelous time, and we know you're going to be all enjoying it when you choose, if you choose to go onto the new Earth. It does not have the 90% water base that was predicted on a different timeline about that planet Earth. It does no longer exist, that option anymore, and it's not the one you're currently on. So things have changed for the positive, and while the mention of the old Earth being destroyed was not discussed, this is the way it has to be now, and this is the way it will be. The consciousness of the planet did not want her old carcass, shall we say, of the third dimension to be left in that very decrepit state, very broken and very toxic state. And so it was chosen that it would be completely annihilated, so no other beings could come and, you know, do negative things to humanity. It needed to be a complete wipeout, and all the beings that are on there, on the Earth, as it does finally go. This is part of, you know, the results of their actions and the use of their free will. So this is all fine. This has happened many times around the universes as well, where planets have failed to thrive, and it's reset, and the energy is moved on. And so we don't want you to get into a panic. You have potentially already experienced this in other places before as well. And when you have the bigger mindset to be able to understand it from the greater perspective, it will make sense to you and you will be at peace with it. So please do not use your time to worry and struggle now. That is not something that will be of your benefit. The balance of water and land on the new Earth will be in beautiful harmony. Everything will be in perfect balance. And the beings who arrive on the new Earth, they will do as they see fit to be able to sustain a peaceful and balanced, beautiful harmony lifestyle together And that is going to be the way forward, and we are excited for you all to explore that and to establish yourselves there and have there's so many words we could use for this, but it will be just marvelous, marvelous, beyond marvelous. And we really, really, really are excited for you to be there and to be able to ground yourselves so peacefully into there, and to get excited about your futures, because you all have marvelous futures there. Once the healing and the shock and the disbelief gets shaken off, which will be very quickly, so do not panic. You will get into the rhythm of life very quickly, and it will just be with grace and ease. So we want to keep reassuring you again and again, as many times as we can, to be able to help you with this process. And of course, we know there are beings that are listening right now who are not going to be going to the new earth. They will be going somewhere else. They will be going back to their homes where they originally had their first human body, first body beings, wherever that was around the universe, where they first settled in, where their original families have been. Of course, you've all come from source, but the first lifetimes that you have experienced where you are really established, potentially some of you will be going back there. And of course, the others who do not have those planets anymore because they failed to thrive also, you will be going to other places that will be supporting not quite the orphans, but the people who want to learn and to live in other communities with other beings that aren't just humans, and it will be marvelous for all as well. So you do not have to fear. You're all going to the most appropriate place that you all need, and this is because you've used your free will. You're going there, and you've got your guides, your spiritual team, and your consciousness and your subconsciousness and your higher selves and your ascended master version of self, all supporting you through this. So there will not be any mistakes. So you can trust yourself, and you can trust those beings to be able to help you find the best place for you. The other question we have is the timelines and how come things have changed since the Nostradamus books, which have been published by Dolores Cannon. And those timelines have been changed because the smaller different events have changed. In some aspects, we had wished that the shift and the evolution could have happened much earlier. But then also there was times where we were expecting it to be much later. And so things are fluid, things do change, and this is one of the situations that is occurring, is the change of time. What you perceive and count as your time, these things never are truly set in stone, because big and even small changes within humanity can shift you easily into different outcomes. So this is how we wanted to explain that to you today, as you have been pondering, as you have been reading the second volume of the Conversations with Nostradamus with Dolores Cannon. So it was very true at the time when this information was being collected. And because of the work that Dolores Cannon has done, and other light beings and other light workers, and also lots of spiritual teams, have all been working very diligently to push and encourage and inspire humanity to be less fearful, more compassionate to each other. That whole movement has benefited most of humanity. And while we would love to say all of humanity, there are people who have been using their free will to explore a different path. And that is fine for them, and we've already discussed that also in another video. So we appreciate that there is a lot of information we are sharing with you, but we do not want to give it to you all in one big 5-hour lot, because we don't think that anyone would dedicate their time to learn this wisdom in one go. And so you're getting information as we see the importance of everything unraveling. We would like to discuss with you now the issue with financial money. We understand this is a big concern for you all, as you're noticing that the financial systems are struggling with the results of the lockdowns and businesses closing down and jobs making people redundant due to the threat of the, in quotation marks, virus. So we want to say to you now that while people have been saying to you that there will be a universal income, and they have used the words Nesara and Gesara, those were again just like the old maps and the old timelines of the shifts and events. That was also another solution, another possibility that was going to be happening in a different timeline that you're in now. And so while there has been a little bit of a universal income, it is not the true Nesara, Gesara plans that we had for humanity to move forward. So therefore, some of the tapped in people who could see what the future was not so long ago, when they looked at the financial systems using either these sessions or other channeled messages, they were given the information about the universal income. And so that was very exciting for them. And of course, they passionately shared that with as many as they could. And that was exciting because people definitely wanted the shift of the financial systems. As you know, we have got firm thoughts about the evolution of money and how it's being used to control you. And this is part of what we consider to be part of a crime against humanity. This is how you've almost been kept as slaves in one degree or another. So we are wanting to say that when you shift into the new earth at the fifth dimension, that will be a money reset, because you will not be able to take your savings and you will not be able to take your debt with you onto the new earth. In the fifth dimension, it's just not possible. There is no system. It's not financial money like it is currently. There is no physical money. There is barter, there is trade, but it is quite different. You don't have to slave and miserably go to work just to get a basic income or even a good income. You'll always be doing the work that gives you the most passion and joy. And it will be quite different for a lot of people what your day-to-day working jobs and roles will be. It will be quite tremendous. And the systems and the structures, because of your way of life, the way you communicate with each other and the way that you are living, being so profoundly connected to each and all, and with the environment, you have to understand that your working days and your working routines are going to be quite profound. And we don't want to scare you by saying your lives will be looking very basic. And living in the bush in nature, because that's not correct either. But essentially the pressure of your working systems and lives, if you have those currently or had those, those will no longer be your approach to your working days. And so we say this with great excitement for you, because once you start feeling and tapping into actually what that means, that will give you a lot of joy to realize that the money reset will be a bonus. It is real. We will not be calling it the Nesara Gesara situation on the new earth, but it is something else, and you will not go without at all. And if you have any worries and fears about going without, we can reassure you now that will not be the case. However, we can say to some people who are listening now, you will be going without some of your potentially friends and family who are not making the shift, who have made their personal choices to stay on the old earth. And while that may be sad and you will physically miss them, you will still have an emotional connection with them. And when they shift, you will still be able to connect with them. Just like with when you're on the new earth, you can call in your departed loved ones. They will come to you. You'll see them as physical orbs. It will surprise you all when you first start experiencing this, but this will be a beautiful way to connect with past loved ones. And you can have a conversation with them and experience them and feel the energies again. And this will be very wonderful, but as we said, it will be very shocking for you to experience that for the first time. And that will be just a beautiful extra bonus for you to understand that when you're in the new earth, things are wonderful and surreal, and you will feel like you are in the afterlife yourselves, but you will not be. What you call heaven or the afterlife is not the new earth, and we want to say that strongly because it is not the same frequency at all. So you can assure yourselves that your lives on the new earth will have changes and lots of growth and explorations of emotions and being connected so profoundly with all your new skill sets, which are very exciting. So we hope that this will give you the understanding of the money situation, because we know this is a very popular concern. And so therefore now, does it make you feel less anxious now to know that your debts that you have, you do not need to pay them back when you're on the new earth? The savings that you are holding on to tightly now, you will not be able to take them to the new earth. So are you able to live a little bit more relaxed, knowing that that financial burden is no longer going to be an issue? And we hope that that gives you comfort, because we understand that this is causing a lot of stress, and this is not giving you your joy. And we are here to always try and give you your joy and to navigate you, to help you with your mindsets, to be able to understand and comprehend and unpack what's all about to unfold for you all. And while we say all, you know, we mean most. And if you're still confused about what you are going to be choosing for your future, or whether you're going to be staying on the old earth, moving to the new earth, or going somewhere else, this is when you need to find your own quantum practitioner and have your own private session. If you really are struggling to understand where you're going, that is one option. The other option is to go within yourself, find peace and solace, connect to yourself, connect to your breath, feel ultimate peace, ask the question, where am I going to be? And hear that first sense that you get. You can trust you will be well. Just ask that. Ask if you will be okay after the shift, and you will get your big answer. We also know that a lot of you are still experiencing ascension symptoms, and we want to confirm still again to you that they are normal. Detoxing from emotional blocks that you haven't been able to resolve. This is how you are moving forward and releasing yourself from the burdens from past. And it will look like physical symptoms. And so you can unpack that yourselves and find out where you're finding the symptoms. We're just scanning to see if there's any more greater questions for you today. We think you should go and listen to more of the older sessions we have provided, because there is a lot now that you will be able to hear as you've grown and evolved yourselves with your mindsets. So going back only a few months of information, you will get a more complete picture of all of the information we've been trying to share with you for this time. So we know you will still have many questions, but you will need to listen and focus to these sessions and try to put them into place and how that applies to you. We say this with much love.